5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Broadcasting worldwide from Paine Studios in Cornwall, this is the Wal of Paine show on Phluid FM.
I am the cat that walks alone. I have no past and no recall. The daytime passes into dusk. The golden motes of dust still dance. But there's no living for me here. I must move on, the call is clear. You won't notice me at all. The night is dark and we're all grey. A shape that shifts in shadows play. An eye that gleams and then lets die. A moment soft as silken down. And you're not listening, so you can't hear. And I watch you so carefully. Your tricks and habits I absorb. The way you light a cigarette. The drink, the chat, the pointless play. Your earrings swing and catch the light. My spirit walks in that thin spark. I am the cat that walks alone. If I hunt in silence, then I'm gone. My fire burns fierce, but it's contained. You only thought you caught a glimpse. A trick of light, so hard to say. You'll sleep forever, and I'll move on.
Hey, yo, listening to MKV from King Creature, and when we ain't touring or rocking out or picking our noses, we're listening to Phluid FM. Keep rocking strong.
And let's hope the magic of this works, and you should transfer, as if by magic, onto the... There you are, on the other screen. Can you still hear us?
I can still hear you.
Yay. Brilliant. So, Joolz Denby in the house, or Dr. Julianne Denby, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a real doctorate, it's an honorary doctorate. I basically got a doctorate from Bradford University for being me.
Excellent.
That's as good a reason as any I can think of.
I want a doctorate for being Joolz Denby. Oh, there you go. You can have that then.
Yeah, you can have it. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I imagine that's quite an exclusive one. Like, if it's a doctorate for being Joolz
Denby.
Mate,
yeah, fairly.
How many other people have got that one, Joolz?
It goes so far as unique. To be honest.
Well, I was going to introduce you as, I mean, obviously, artist.
Do you realise all I can see is his hat with a pair of headphones on it?
Oh, it's because he's leaning back. He tends to move, Joolz. If he doesn't move, we won't get all the dials and sliders twiddled.
Okay. It's like the Phantom hat, though, mate. Just going across the
borders. Joolz, I was going to say artist, tattooist, author, broadcaster, performer, Radio 1, Radio 4, recently making bracelets, making Van Gogh pictures out of...
Yeah, look, there's my bracelets. I'm just making one now.
Oh, and making your own butter.
Yes, I make my own butter, yeah.
This is, I mean, is there...
I've got to think a bit of a thing about food, so...
Well, excellent.
No, I just don't like processed food.
That's good.
I don't like. It's what my friend says. I don't like fancy food.
I don't like that up north.
I like fancy food, and so I just make what I can make. I make.
I tell you what, you're looking good on not eating all the processed food. So there's obviously it works, Jules. That's what I could say.
I just don't like it. I'm not being like people go like, oh, you've been picky. Because they like that around it. You've been just being picky. And I'm going, no, it's not picky. I just actually don't like it. Same as Coca-Cola. I don't like that either.
No?
I never liked. Even when I was a kid, I never liked those kind of fizzy drinks and stuff, so I never had them.
What's your drink of choice, Jules?
Black Yorkshire tea.
Oh, got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah. Nice.
I don't like milk either. I don't like milk in it.
Hey.
Oh, right. Black tea, eh?
Well, I tell you what, you're
sugar. Don't take sugar in it either.
You're a cheap date, aren't you?
I'm a very cheap date. Not only that, but like I could, it's so stewed. You could stand a spoon up in it.
Oh well, you're Yorkshire lass. You got to like.
My nan said, if you drink tea like that, you'll stew your stomach.
Oh well, that's kind of the thing that nans say, though, isn't it?
Nans say that, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say to you, Jules, because you're obviously in you don't live in Hebden. You are in Bradford, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, absolutely. I'm literally 2 miles away from the city centre.
Yeah, because many moons ago, I came up to Hebden Bridge to buy a pair of clogs that had one of your designs put into the into the suede as well. So I'm quite familiar with Hebden, but not necessarily Bradford. But I was just going to say, when you were growing up in Bradford, did anybody else actually manage to get a job, or did you just have them all? Because you're just talented in so many.
I'm not from here. Do you know? I'm not actually from Bradford. I wasn't born in Bradford or anything like that. I was actually born in Colchester in Essex.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Colchester Barracks. That was my first offence. I'm an Essex girl.
Oh.
And then my family were in the army. So my dad, we moved around a lot. And then he came out of the army, and he used to be in the territorial SAS and things like that. So he's quite a dedicated and professional. Okay. And he said, we're all moving. He was Scottish. We're all moving to the north of England. And I was like 10 or something. I went, oh, where? And he said, we're going to Harrogate. It's by the sea. And whole family was convinced that Harrogate, which is in the absolute dead centre of the country,
right,
was by the sea. And when we got there, we were all going like, where's the sea, Dada? And he's going, I made a slight geographical error. And we're all like, Dad, you're in the SAS. I mean, the fate of the nation was in your hands, and you don't even know where you're going. And he was this great big huge man. He was like 6'5", and he was built like a unit. And it was really funny because we used to like torture him with this.
Yeah, I guess it's lucky there's no Iranian embassies up them ways.
Just as just as well, mate, he didn't have anything to do with that one. But apart from that, how they ever dropped him out of a parachute at the size he was, I don't know. He had to have a special parachute made for him.
No way.
Yeah, because he was huge.
Yeah, well, usually the parachutists are usually about 5.5 foot, 5 to 6 at the most.
Yeah, they like slight, don't they? Yeah. Like wiry people.
Yeah, I'd be ideal for that.
What's
not
that?
My gigantic dada.
I used to do a gift fair in Harrogate many moons ago. Well, what's that famous tea and cake shop there, Jules?
Betty's.
Betty's, that's it.
Betty's tea room, still there.
Is it?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, still wonderful. Still there. Still the best tea room in the world.
Yeah, we used to do gift fairs up there when I used to sell for a framing company, and if you were good, if you were good. If you were bad, you used to get to do the NEC in Birmingham. But if you were good...
Oh, yeah, been there, done that, yeah.
If you were good, you used to get to Harrogate. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And they used to be...
no, I tell you what about Betty's. Everyone goes like, oh, it's proper snobby and posh and all the rest of it. And it is posh, it's beautiful. It's very old-fashioned. But when I was an art student in Harrogate, when I was a kid, like 16, and being a proper art student, thinking I was a proper Bowie lookalike and all the rest of it in my outfits, my friends in their outfits and that. We used to go into that cafe and we'd order like one pot of tea for 4 of us, and one like prawn sandwich for 4 of us, And they never said a word. They just served us exactly the same as they served the rich ladies across the way. Yeah. They never made a fuss. They were always totally nice about it.
Brilliant.
So it reminds me of the Rennie McIntosh Cafe in Glasgow. I can't remember the name of that, but that's again beautiful place. And same when I used to go up there with my mum and dad, and it'd be like get one of the afternoon teas between all of us, basically.
Yeah.
Just pass it around.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you can be a bit more decadent. You can go, remember me? Well, I want a cream tea for everybody now.
yeah, that's when you made it.
So was art then? Art was your first thing, Jules. You were an art student, and then things came on like the writing and everything after that.
I drew and I wrote at the same time all the time since I was a little child.
I mean, you are prolific.
I did two things.
You are prolific in everything that you do. So yeah, there's clearly not enough time in the day for you.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about. I know that you wanted to talk about mental health issues.
We do, yeah.
With art and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's really taken me years I've been in therapy for years, and it's really taken me years and years to see that a lot of the prolific nature of what I do, which is ridiculous, even I know it's like a ridiculous amount of stuff, is so that I don't have to address the things that happen to me. Because if I'm making something all the time, I don't have to sit and actually address and think about what I have to deal with, which is a lot. Okay. So it's quite interesting to me, this whole thing about how prolific I am, and I look back at the past and I see that I was in a milieu that was very big on, like, if you're not working 24/7, you're slacking. That was the worst thing to be, a slacker.
Isn't that a very? I was having a conversation with somebody about this only the other week, talking about like the continental approach to things and the British approach to things. And there is this thing in Britain where, well, I'm doing a 10-hour shift, well, I'm doing a 12-hour shift, and then the bloke will I do a 16-hour shift, and
how much can you work?
But in France, they'd be like, well, we get up, do a couple of hours, then we shut the town for 3 hours, and then we'll do another hour, and then we might go for a drink.
Yeah, bit of a plate of escargot, wander up the cafe, and all this. But they know we don't do it in England. It's like this whole thing. I mean, it's the Protestant work ethic to work all hours God sends, and to actually think that you are worth only what you're making. You're worth only what you can do in the way of how long you can work, how much money you can make. The biggest compliment you can say to a guy is he's a real hard worker.
You're right. Yeah. No, that's
a real hard worker.
Honestly,
in England, the worst thing you can say is he's such a lovely person, because that sounds weak to the English.
But
it can totally relate to saying on a couple of levels. I feel that I had the same thing. When I was younger, I could chuck out like 4 or 5 full completed pieces of music a day. And I'd work all through the night and all through the day. And there was so many different things that I would do, like some artworks as well, graphic design, really like computer-based, like my kind of thing. And it was always just one thing after another. And like I say, just trying to occupy the time so I wasn't actually stopping for any amount of time to ruminate or think back over anything. And one of the things I find really, I'm not sure if pernicious is the word these days, that businesses really capitalise on that with a lot of people. I worked in the games industry for a while, and so much of that is filled with very passionate people who will work every hour that God sends. They even make you sign a waiver to waive your 30-hour work week rights under the EU back then, and they will take advantage of people like us to do that all of the time. It's become almost like a modus operandi for business.
It's like a badge of honour, isn't it? How much can you work and actually still be standing? And then you get the thing in England, of course, you get the work hard, play hard, so everybody goes out and gets absolutely arseholed, afterwards, and takes any amount of coke and thinks that's okay because they've justified it
by working.
By working.
Yeah. So you said, Jules, that you're prolific in everything that you do, so it stops you thinking about things. Is that stops you thinking about things that have happened, or you're saying that are continuously happening that you don't want to?
When you have the level, I've had a lot of violence and trauma in my life. So when you actually experience those levels of extreme trauma and extreme violence. I know people don't imagine this to be the truth, but sadly and unfortunately it is. And when you've done that, it's like chucking a brick in a pond. The ripples keep going. They don't stop just because you're not having specifically in a traumatic situation at this moment. Doesn't mean to say that you're not suffering from trauma.
Yeah.
So it's a lifetime of trying to deal with that. And I had repeated incidences of very traumatic and violent events for decades.
I just want to pause on that, Jules, because I want to come back and speak to you about something very specific. But you've also very kindly chosen a couple of tunes. What we want to do is just play one of your Now you've got, two absolute bangers. I Feel Free by Cream and California Dreamin', Mamas and Papas.
Can't go wrong, can you, with them?
No, you can't. Are they literally sort of like soundtracks of your growing, just favourite tunes?
Oh, yeah, they're from when I was growing up, yes, because I loved all that. I loved all that American rock, and I loved like Cream because they were just. I just thought that I was like 14. I thought they were really, really cool, and it's like, I'm sitting here in my living room. There's my record player. I've got an actual record player.
Yeah.
Or is what the young people call a vinyl player.
Yes.
Which makes me laugh a lot. So there's my record player down there, and on top of it is Cream.
Brilliant. Well, let's play Cream.
Yep.
And we'll have we'll still be able to have a little chit chat while we're off air listening to Cream, and then we'll be back on air, Jules. Yeah.
No problem.
Brilliant.
Bit of Cream then.
We are back in the room. There she is.
Yeah.
She's back in the room.
Here I am.
Bit of Cream there.
Yes.
What an absolute banger.
Love a bit of Cream.
Yeah, and as I say, you've got California Dreamin', the Mamas and Papas.
Oh, that's just the best song ever.
I remember the very first time I heard that, and I didn't know who it was, and it's just one of those super duper earworms that this is all obviously pre-Soundhound and what's the other one that you Deezer and you're like, who's that, and you had to do your research and go and buy Sounds or the NME or something, find out who it was. Oh no, the library's closed, it'll have to wait till Monday.
Oh god, no, the record library, what would we have done without the record library? We didn't ever known anything.
I got a lot of great stuff from our local library back in Hounslow. It had a fantastic music section there, and they'd order stuff in as well. And by the time, honestly, by the time me and my mate Dominic had finished, that place had more hardcore, psytrance, drum and bass than anyone else would ever want.
Excellent.
But all these things, today's society, isn't it? It's very instant gratification. You order something, you press send, and the children are almost at the front door going, where is it? I've just pressed send. Surely it's here. And you can do same day now. That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, just while we were off air there, we were just chatting for everybody that obviously couldn't hear that. We were talking, Jules, about your, I think it's intrinsically woven. You've said this, the drawing, the painting, the tattoo art.
Yeah, it's all the same.
The writing. It's just you are ludicrously and prolifically creative, but I'm on reading Stone Baby, which incidentally won the Crime Writers Award for New Crime Writing Novel, didn't it? In 2000, was it?
Yeah, that was hilarious because I basically entered it at the last minute. I only had 3 chapters of it written. And they said, you said, well, you could send 3 chapters, and you're précis and all, and send it off. So I thought, well, I'll bugger it. I've got 3 chapters. I'll send it off. So I did this and then forgot, and I had to rush about trying to get a courier to get it in at the last moment, and I was like trying to fish out pennies out of the bottom of my purse to pay him, and it was all a bit silly, and I just, do you know what I mean, when things get a bit crackers? I totally forgot about it. And then I was up in the northeast staying at this farm place and doing an enormous painting. It was like about 6 foot by 6 foot, and I was knackered, and the phone rang at like 9:30 in the morning, and this very, very posh voice said, may I speak to Joolz Denby? And I said, yeah, speaking. And he said, I'd like to tell you that you have won New Crime Writer of the Year. And I went, pardon my French, F off Warren, because I thought it was my friend Warren doing the it's not bloody funny, mate. Do you know what time it is in the morning? And I put the phone down.
No way.
Classic.
Yeah, I did. And then he turned out to be a very nice man, rang me back and said, no, honestly, I'm not Warren. You have won it. And I was just like hysterical for the whole day.
That's brilliant, though. That's brilliant. But it's a very... I mean, I was going to say it's a very dark book. This is what I find about you. And I was just saying before we came on air, and you said, "Why is it weird?" Because just a quick backpedal. My first vehicle that I bought when I passed my driving test was a 1971 Volkswagen camper.
Yeah.
And as we did back in the day, we souped them up and we lowered them and we resprayed them. And on the pulley wheel, I painted your Thunder and Consolation rune on the pulley wheel of my engine, which I think I'm correct in. EMI didn't like that, but you then won an award for it.
No, I won a gold record because it sold 1 million.
Right.
And they had to give me a gold. They had to give me a gold record. No, when I submitted it, they went, "What the F is this?"
Yes, I've read that story, and they didn't like it. Yeah.
No, and then they said, it was the 80s, right? Then they said, "Do the band know a girl's doing their artwork?"
Wow.
And I said, I think they have noticed.
Yes.
Was that their key objection, or did they have some other
Mostly.
objection there? It was just that.
Well, they said it wouldn't sell because it didn't look like the record covers of the day that were the fashion, which was always a
because
great
executives always know exactly what's going to sell.
Of course they do, love.
I just love that though. That then it was like the best. And then on the back of my camper van, because of course you travel around in a camper van, I painted in the very spiky blue writing "Vagabonds," and I put your blue chain.
Oh, the blue chain, yeah, the Celtic.
And this is going back to the early 90s, and since then, like, obviously, I've read your poetry, and I followed, New Model Army through, and I followed you, and then your artwork. And now, this is why I'm saying it's weird, Jules, because I've spoken to you so many times and bought T-shirts and merch and stuff from you, obviously, as ships that passed in. And now here we are.
Was I not like horribly rude to you? I used to be horribly rude to people on the T-shirt store.
No,
people would come up with some other band on that I wasn't keen on, and I'd go, "Why are you wearing that rag? Get a proper T-shirt." And they go like, "Oh, you're so harsh."
No, because I always turned up with a New Model Army shirt on. But this was back.
It's always the way. It's always the best way to be, mate. It's always the way.
It is, and the very first time, because you were known obviously as the flame-haired bard of Bradford. I think the very first time you did have your bright red hair, and
did I have the bright red hair?
You did the first time I came to see you.
I had it for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was just the same colour for 15 years. And then I decided I was going to start to look like the oldest goth at the disco. Do you know? And I dyed it out. And then I got letters from people saying I had betrayed a generation.
Oh dear.
Oh, because of the red hair thing. God bless.
Well, it was one of those betrayed. It was one of those moments because obviously you go to the band, you go to a gig to see the band, but for me, I went to see the band, and then I got to the merch, and it was like, you have to excuse my French now. It was like I was like, fucking hell, it's Jules. It's actually Jules on the merch stand, because I didn't expect to see you there selling your prints. Obviously,
I did it. No, I did it the whole time because I don't believe that anybody is more important than anybody else. I could have sat backstage and I don't know, ate the mouldy sandwiches they give you or whatever. It's like, I could have done, all of that. But to me, I made those T-shirts.
Yeah.
Well, I have, obviously I didn't print them, but I got the printers to do it. They did all the arrangement. Yeah, I did all the designs, did everything. That was a piece of my work. So if I can't front my own work, what sort of a person am I?
You can't expect someone else to if you want to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But like I say, that was just the thing for me. I could believe that I was going to see this is when I was 17, 18, and I first went to see New Model Army. I could believe that I was going to see the band because I bought the ticket. But what I couldn't believe is then I went to buy a T-shirt, and it was almost like then I was the little kid in the sweet shop and I go, "Can I have one of them in a large, please?" And then run away quickly because it's Jules standing at the merch store.
Yeah, but I liked it. I enjoyed doing it. I didn't do it because I liked doing it. It was a lot of fun, and it was very tiring and all the rest of it. But it doesn't matter.
No,
I really enjoyed doing it, and also it was because when I built New Model Army, which I built from the ground. I had to. I remember sitting in this cafe in Bradford, a horrible cafe, and
is it like the one on The Apprentice?
Oh no, it's gone now. Fortunately, it was like there was never anything fresh. Every scone was like a hockey puck.
Not Betty's then.
No, not Betty's. And I was sitting in there with a lukewarm, frothy coffee. And thinking, oh my God, how am I going to make this work? Well, I don't know anything about bands. I've been in a biker gang. I've been in this. I'm married to a Satan slave. I didn't know anything about rock music, but I promised him that I would do it.
Yeah.
So I had to wing it like a bugger to get, and I sat there and I had an old envelope in the back in my bag and a stub of a pencil, and I wrote down all the things I thought that would give them longevity.
Oh.
So because I knew that he was incapable of holding down a proper job.
Well, it's worked because it's 45 years now, isn't it?
5 years, and he's never had to have a proper job. I think I deserve a medal. But
well, you got a gold disc.
Yeah, but for keeping him away from the general public, I think it's a good idea. But I just wrote down things like, we all have to be in this together. I remember writing, must be in this together.
Yeah.
Fans and the band and everybody's got to be in this together. This is a journey we're all taking. This is not, here, look at me, I'm a posh rock band, I'm like snobby and I do this and I don't communicate with the fans. So my being on the t-shirt stall was the bridge between you and the band.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And it absolutely worked as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, it did. 100% it worked. Yeah.
And I find in your writing, we were just touching again on Stone Baby, in your writing, you write, I've read a lot of your poetry, which is obviously, it stands to reason, poetic, but your narrative and dialogue in your actual novels is very poetic as well. And both your novels, your poetry, well, they're both basically a trio because the art as well has got a light side, and it's very funny. I mean, I listen to some of your stuff that the spoken word, and it can be very funny, and then instantly it's very dark, and your paintings can be full of joy, and then there's another one that's dark, and it's very, very cleverly done that you can jump from one thing to another, but they're all
trust me, mate, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, it works, Jules.
No plan.
It's worked for the last 50 years.
There's no plan. It's just me. That's what. But isn't that what life is like?
It is.
It's
but
not
what I'm
all
saying,
funny and it's not all dark. You know what I mean?
But you seem to do it. I mean, you said that you've had a lot of things that have gone on and still going on in your life, and I think a lot of that, particularly the character Jamie G in Stone Baby, I won't give any spoilers if nobody's read it, but you can tell that a lot of that stuff is written because it's happened, or you've known somebody that these things have happened to. But you can still, even in a bad situation or it can still be quite funny. And that's the. I know you say
everybody does that. Don't you remember when you were when you got something happened to you when you were young? Like you might have been trying to hitchhike somewhere, and instead of it taking an hour, like at 4 o'clock in the morning, you were still stood there freezing your ass off at a service station. And then it's awful at the time. But 2 months later, it's the funniest story you tell in the pub.
Everybody does do it though, Jules, but to put it actually down in paint or print or whatever, some people can't do that. They don't get that into the spoken or written word or actually into the media. Do you know what I mean?
It's a difficult thing to do. I mean, I don't know if you find this, Jules. As a musician, I find it often the most stressful thing for me is transference from in the head to in the music, and I wonder if you ever have that similar thing where you've got it so clear in your mind but the canvas is just not picking it up.
Not really, no.
It's just me then.
Sorry, no, I don't mean it like that.
Well, I mean, that does kind of explain why you're Joolz Denby and I'm not. So.
Sorry, I feel awful now.
No. We like a good, honest answer, Jules. We don't like beating around the bush on this program.
The thing is, it's not like that for me because I'm not had a normal life.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of the, what do they call them now? Boundaries.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah.
You hear a lot about this. I mean, this is a complete concept to me. I had this idea that you sort of protect yourself with boundaries, and that's a good thing. I never had that. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, obviously, but I mean, I don't have any sense of applying it to me. My whole life is from get up to bedtime is half in the spirit world, half in the real world, always in the making world, and never really. I don't have what people would call a normal life.
It's interesting. Interesting.
And a lot.
So once you dismantle, I'm talking to your man here. Once you dismantle all those preconceptions and all that sort of stuff that's around you about how you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to look like, blah, 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 blah. And if you just, it sounds so mental, if you give it yourself to it and go, right, this is it, then all of that tends to go away. Do you make mistakes and have failures? Yes.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. All the time. The waste bins are full of ruined drawings, or, you know, there's poems that never see the light of day.
Yeah.
There's you know, I'll go through the book when I'm writing it, and I roll edit, you know, so I'm editing it the day when I start writing. Cut the whole 5-6 pages.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Would you be one that ascribes to that saying of no art is ever genuinely completed, it's only ever abandoned? Or...
Oh Christ, you should see me tattooing, mate. I'd have them all back in 2 months so I could fiddle with it.
Brilliant. Yeah, because I get the impression I'm a bit like this. You're a bit of a perfectionist as well. You want things to be
it's
perfect.
got to be right.
Yeah. I have. This is something that has delayed me in so many projects over the years, where I just have a problem where I can't let go. I just want to keep going and get it just so perfect.
You do have to, as you mature as an artist, you realise there comes to a point when you do have to know, okay, now I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to let it go, and it's what it is at this point. You know that you've done your utmost with it. It sits right with you.
Yeah.
It may not be, you know, what you could go on forever and ever and ever. But I tell you what, when you're painting, just painting a canvas, there's a point when you can overpaint, and it just turns into mush.
Yeah.
And it's like you get to that point, and you just think, oh, we've got the paintbrush. I just want to go like that.
Yeah.
Oh, bugger.
That was classic Picasso, wasn't it? When his famous quote was, by the time he was 16, he could draw like Raphael, but it took him all his life to learn to paint like a child. And he went back and exhibited a blank canvas, didn't he? Because he said, we've gone full circle now, and we need to start again. I was going to say to you, Jules, because a lot of the stuff that you do again with the cover art, particularly I'm thinking of Dog and Wolf and all of that, it's very tribal, very tribal.
It's cave art, love.
Yes, exactly that. So is that a theme that you go to the band and say, this is what it's going to be, or does it work the other way around, where you listen to the music and think that's got to be the artwork for that type of music?
I will tell you the story of what happened with Thunder and Constellation. Is I produced a piece of work. It's for people who've never seen it. It's a white square, and in the middle, about the size of, you know, a teacup, if you put a teacup down on a piece of paper. Yeah. There's a Celtic knot in black and white and grey and red. Yeah, and red, yeah. And so it was very bold and very unseen. It had never been seen before, anything like this. But so I took it to the band, and Robert, who is our late drummer, who is now sadly not with us anymore, he'd got a mate who was a graphic designer. This is always desperately terrible when they've got a mate who's a graphics designer. Because the mate, of course, was jealous and wanted to do it himself. You know, he wanted to be the person to do it. Yeah. So he'd said to Robert, oh, well, you know, if it was as a professional was doing this, they'd give you 6 or 7 versions to look at and you could choose, you know, right. You know, and Robert got this in his head that he wanted to be like everything to be right. So he said, well, no, he said, you know, Bob or whatever his name was says, you know, this. And I went, yeah, okay, I'll go on. So I went away and did 6 different versions of the cover, all different. Right. Different theme, different colours, good palette, everything different. I took them back to the studio, laid them out on the floor, and they all walked around them quiet, you know, silently. Yeah. Robert was doing the thing he used to do. Doing his chin thing. Yeah. Looking at like this. And he came back and he said, I don't know about the rest of the lads. He said, but I definitely think that is the one. And pointed at Thunder, the one that I'd given him the first time. Right. And I was then at the point when I was trying not to laugh my head off. Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want to, you know, because they're musicians. Sorry, musicians, but you know they're a bit temperamental. Mm-hmm. And so I was going, oh. Great. Well, shall we go with that one then? And he went, good choice. I think that's the right choice. And then, about you, but you know. And then did you say, but also I'm going to charge you for the other 5 as well? No, I never charged him for anything.
But it is Rob Heaton, though. What an absolutely... I mean, not here to talk about Rob Heaton.
He was the greatest rock drummer of his generation.
He was my ultimate drum hero. But Michael is also... I mean, he was his drum tech, wasn't he? I mean, he is fantastic.
He was,
but Rob, that's the first thing that struck me with New Model Army, because I play drums, as does Leo. I wish I could play him 100th as well as Rob could play them. But that was the first thing. It wasn't the backbeat. It was like particularly like Inheritance. I mean, that was insane. But
he managed to combine a fluidity with power.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen much in drumming. People are either like wristy and fluid, or they're like, Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah.
But the combination of that tremendous power and this very fluid technique that he had, that was what that's what made him great.
He was fantastic, and that's still
he had a great ear for it as well. So.
Still to this day, my favourite album ever is Thunder and Consolations. Not only my favourite New Model Army album, it is my favourite ever album. I think it's brilliant. But talking about favourites, your favourite song ever, Jules, is
California Dreaming.
Yeah.
Should we play that?
Yeah, sure. Let's have some California Dreaming for the mamas and the papas.
We are back.
Yeah.
We are back, and we've got a question in the chat room from Dawn Lee.
Yeah.
And Dawn says, "Hello, Jules. What was your first tattoo?" And I'm presuming she means your first tattoo, not the first tattoo that you did.
No, first tattoo I ever had.
Do you tattoo yourself, actually? Good.
You have to when you're an apprentice.
Oh, wow.
Tattoo your own leg. Fortunately, mine's not too bad. My best mate's leg that he did is appalling. And he decided, and nobody knows why he decided to do this. He decided to do a large silhouette of a devil smoking a cigarette on his leg.
Right.
And it's on his thigh, because you have to do your left thigh if you're right-handed, right thigh.
Yeah.
And he down his right thigh. And so, when we get together at our areas, we make him show us. Because we're mean.
So technically then, your first tattoo you did do yourself then?
No, my first tattoo was done by, I was 18 and or was I 19? 19, I think. And it was done by Trevor of Stanningley.
Right.
70s, right?
Yeah.
And it was a small heart on my wrist. Now, girls didn't have tattoos in those days, or any, shall we say, ladies of the night had tattoos, right? But not, art students. And I went with my husband. We were, gang members and all the rest of it. It's not as romantic as you think. And he went in to have Harley Davidson and chickened out and had BSA. And I had this heart on my wrist. Anyway, so I was thrilled myself. I was very proud of myself. And I went back into art school. I got called into the head of the art school's office, and they said, "There is a rumour going around that you have had a tattoo." And I went, "Yeah," because because I'm like, in my head it's just art. It's an art thing. I'm not thinking about it. And they said, "Well, we're very seriously considering whether you should be allowed to continue on your course, as you obviously will not be able to get a job now you have mutilated yourself."
Wow.
That is brilliant, isn't
Honestly,
it? I mean,
I would love to take those peeps and bring them into today and have them do
You're unusual. You're unusual
today.
if you don't have. I mean, I don't have any tattoos.
You're the tattooist. You're called the Tattooist Delight, mate. The blank canvas.
Well, if I get up to Bradford, I'll pop in.
Yeah, this was
You'll have to now, because you said it on radio.
I don't think I'd trust anybody else to do one, Jules. So if I'm going to get one, I'll have to come up to Bradford, won't I?
This is not a question. Like, do you know any tattooists that don't have tattoos? I imagine this is a rare thing. Maybe I'm not.
It is a rare thing, but usually people like that, they're not actually tattooists, but I've known a couple of tattoo studio owners who didn't have tattoos. They were running it purely as a financial thing, and they weren't really interested in tattoos themselves.
Because you're holding your hands up as you're speaking, and have you still got the little heart? Is it tattooed
No,
over?
it's under. Hang on a minute, I can't do it now because it's on the film. It's that one. It's under there.
Oh, so it's all gone.
It's covered up. Yeah, because after that I decided to have another one, and then I went to the bloke on Manchester Road called Mick the Speed Freak. It's not a good advert because it was actually true. And while he's gurning and chewing and tattooing, you're trying to think, oh, why did I do this? It's not really a good idea. But I worked for Trevor of Stanningly when I was a kid. When I was about 16, I used to work for him as what's called a drawer on in those days. This is in the 70s, And so I would do, like he'd say, can you do some like of them Oriental ladies with umbrellas? And I'd say, oh, you mean like geisha with parasols?
Yeah.
And, yeah, something like that.
That'll do.
Something like that. So I do these lovely sheets of drawings, for what we call flash, to put on the wall, of these beautiful, geisha with parasol. And some poor lad had come in, and then I'd have to draw it on him with a biro. Because that's how it worked back then. So I was to draw it on, and then Trevor would just destroy it because he couldn't draw.
Right. Just what
he couldn't draw at all. I'm not saying he was not very good at drawing. He actually could not draw.
Wow.
And he didn't
tracing.
He didn't think at any point just to say, Jules, why don't you just do the tattoo?
No, women weren't. We weren't allowed. I mean, I didn't. I
know it's hard for you to think back that far, Neil, but like there was such a day.
Hey, I was born in '69.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not being facetious at all. Like, genuinely, this is the people. And for any of the younger people listening to us, and we do have younger listeners, this is real. This is what every woman had to put up with for many, many years. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
We were told. I was told, and we were all told, and girls that I knew, that we would just get pregnant. So what was the point?
Oh,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
What's the point of teaching us? Because we're just going to get married and have kids.
Yeah. It's very ludicrous.
And then, or you could marry a tattooist.
Oh, great.
And then you were always called the sketchbook.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because then they test on you, right?
Practice on you, yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. So you weren't all this thing about these, beautiful, glamorous women now that do tattooing. There was none of that.
No.
Well, I tell you what, Jules, it's funny because I've just had we'll do the quiz in a second. Talking about Andrea, my wife, she's just WhatsApped me and said, "Tell Jules about when I got my first tattoo and you didn't believe me." Crying smiley, because so my wife, well. My mother-in-law, Andrea's mum, was a great artist as well. Used to do canvases and all sorts of And we've got this lovely photo of her in black and white. She actually looks, like the old traditional black and white photos of parents, and she looks like this movie star. And Andrea went to a tattooist in Tavistock, which is just on the edge of Dartmoor. You'll probably I was going to say you've probably been all over doing what you do. So she went to this tattooist, absolutely fantastic tattoo, and it's I don't know if you can see where I'm drawing, maybe I'll do it on the other arm.
Yeah, I can see it,
all like across the side and there, and it's her mother's face, and it's intertwined with roses and like almost like watercolour splotches that are deliberately put onto it. And she just came in and she said, like, my tattoo. And I'm like, what tattoo? She goes, the tattoo that I've just had done. And I'm like, you haven't got a tattoo. She goes, I've got a tattoo. And I don't know whether the kids even knew about it. And she's like, what are you talking about? You got a tattoo? And she got it when it's all in the thing, and we were like, what? And she's got this enormous tattoo, but absolutely stunning. It really is a beautiful tattoo. But she hadn't mentioned a dicky bird that she was going to go and get this tattoo or anything.
Did she think you'd freak out?
I don't know. Maybe it was just like one of those ta-da moments.
Well, maybe it was like when you get a lot of people in, it's so personal to them.
Yeah.
That almost it doesn't involve anybody else.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, it was because it was of her mother.
Yeah,
and
so maybe it was just it was a thing for herself to such the degree that it was for her.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go and get this tattoo done. But she said, yes, she's just tell Jules about that one she had. But it wasn't like your little. Well, mind you, it's a different era, I guess. But but it was just it's this full blown, not a sleeve.
No. Oh my God, we couldn't as women we couldn't have had that.
No, it's.
I got beaten up by a man once because I had better tattoos than him.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he beat the crap out of me in a nightclub.
Bloody hell.
People out there, man.
Yeah. Because I was having a joke with him. He was saying something like, "Why have you got those tattoos?" And he was covered, in crap. And I said, "Well, because I like them." And he was going, effing this, effing that. And then you shouldn't have better tattoos than me. And I said the thing that you should never say, which is, well, I know somebody can cover yours up pretty well.
Yeah, no.
And
then that was it, really. Yeah, then that was it. Then he was dragging me about all over the dance floor.
Well, this is again going back to your writing as well, because there's some quite violent bits and pieces when this Jamie G is clearly on the circuit as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And you're alluding, obviously, at that time, because I think you mentioned Eddie Izzard in it, but nobody did that. It was all basically... take the mother-in-law, so my mother-in-law, and it was just jokes. Yeah. Nobody did that observational comedy. That was a relatively new thing, wasn't it? And
yes,
the punters in the book, obviously, which is real life, didn't get why she was just standing on stage, I guess, and talking about real life things. Yeah. And there's all sorts going on. You know, she gets beaten up. She gets into a lot of violent scenes, and there's a lot.
It was very violent. It's a violent scene. I mean, I was just reading, the other day about what happened to the Welsh singer Duffy.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, do you remember Duffy?
I do, yeah. Mercy.
Voice, pretty woman from Wales, lovely singing voice.
Yeah.
Very successful, and vanished. People go, well, what's she doing now? Yeah. Well, what? Apparently, she just quite recently told everybody she had a birthday party, and she was drugged, kidnapped, and raped.
Oh my God!
Really?
And then held captive.
Bloody hell!
For a while, and then taken to a foreign country. She won't say who did this, but it's obviously somebody who was wealthy, and flew her to another country where she was drugged, did awful things to her, took her home, and she managed to get away. And then she just basically had a nervous breakdown by the sound of it.
Crikey!
Wow,
no, I've not heard. Yeah.
Incredible.
And as soon as I started talking about this, at least 2 other women came forward on my social media and said that happened to me. Wow. I was in the music business, and this happened to me.
This is the thing, I can testify. The music business is full of real creeps. Trust me, I've had some incidents myself. I'm quite lucky that I'm still here. And people would be really shocked actually at how common this sort of thing is. It's ludicrous that people can get away with it, but again, money covers everything with these people, doesn't it?
Well, look at Led Zeppelin. If anybody's ever read Hammer of the Gods, and they boasted about, one of them boasted about chaining a 14-year-old girl up to a radiator in his cellar.
That was the Groupies Collective, wasn't it? I was talking to Neil about this a few weeks ago, where there was a group of groupies back then that prided themselves on getting in with, particularly Jimmy
big
Page.
Rock bands,
Jimmy Page was big on this, apparently. And the record label went to extreme lengths to cover it up. I mean,
she was 14.
Yeah, they were flying her out around the world.
They were like 13, 14, 15-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And they go, look, people go like, well, they knew what they were doing and all of this sort of business. Who knows what they're doing when they're 14?
Exactly.
Everything is crazy when you're 14. You think you can do anything and do, And so this is rife within the music and entertainment industry.
Well, we just look at.
We have Gary Glitter out again.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's just been released.
Yes,
you know.
And R. Kelly, like that situation is still rolling on, and how that hasn't been brought to light a lot more and dealt with so much quicker. I mean, again, you've got the whole. I have to be careful how I say him. Effie Jepstein, just for the algorithms there. That whole thing, and still nothing really solid has come to ground for that, has it? Why
has this black book not been fully investigated and everybody on it arrested?
Exactly.
It's too much money.
Yeah, exactly. Money.
Too much money.
Everything.
Yeah.
Too much money.
I was going to say, also being famous. So if you're famous, people want to. I mean, I remember saying something about Led Zeppelin. God, years ago now on Facebook, and I got absolutely deluged with fans going, "How dare you?"
Well,
and I'm going, "It's in the blooming book. They released the book."
Yeah,
they are held up though. All these people, aren't they? They are the legendary Led Zeppelin, and they are held up in high esteem with so many people.
Yeah, they do great. They make great music. They make great albums. But that doesn't mean that they're good people.
Great people, exactly.
You certainly shouldn't absolve them.
No, I'm
exactly.
not. Again, I'm not saying that.
Ezra Miller in The Flash.
What is that all about?
Oh God! Well, I've been mentioning it off and on through the shows as it's been going on, because I think people do need to know about this. Like, this is a guy who literally chokeslammed a female fan in the middle of a shop and started beating her up. He also kidnapped a woman and her children and put them on his farm where the child was eating bullets. And yet DC and Warner
He can
Brothers,
still get a film signing, can't he?
Well, this is the thing. He's in The Flash, which should by all means be cancelled, right? Right?
Yeah, because it's not like we need another superhero film.
No, exactly. I mean, The Flash
it's
isn't
not like,
even that.
oh my God, we've got to have this man play because it couldn't possibly be anybody else. Do you know what I mean?
To put a little bit of levity into the conversation, we didn't really need the first superhero film, did we?
Oh, no, I like them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because I have a very, very poor taste in films. And I really actually just like watching robots hitting each other.
Oh, okay. Do you like Transformers then?
Don't mind Transformers. I'll do a Transformer. But my favourites, of course, are Godzilla.
Oh.
Hey, nice.
King of Monster.
Yes.
And King Kong.
Wicked.
King Kong.
Classics.
That is
classics.
the old black and white one. Brilliant. King Kong, the
Classic.
original. Yeah.
Because look at what a brilliant narrative it is in the sense that here is a monster, you know, that in the end you feel dreadfully, dreadfully sorry for.
Yeah.
Bring that to the present day. Look at Happy Valley. You know, if you've seen the series, I'm not going to spoil the end, but for people who haven't seen the end yet, because I know people who haven't. But you know, it's that same narrative. Here is a monster, but are they a monster? Why are they a monster?
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same thing in, you know, when I'm writing Stone Baby or whatever, when I'm looking at Sean Powers, who is the monstrous, you know, villain, you find out all the way through the book he was made that way. He wasn't born a monster. He was created.
We touched earlier as well. We were talking. We'll do the quiz in a second, but we were just talking. You were saying
we're never going to do that quiz, are we? It's just
no, we are going to do the quiz. Otherwise, when I get home,
we're not.
My wife will string me up, Jules. We're going to do the quiz.
Right. Okay.
But just talking about Sean Powers and talking about monsters, we were saying earlier when we were off air. You were saying that there is a pre and post Ripper Bradford.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yes, the vibe was completely different. Before the Ripper, you just, you know, if your friends rang you up and said, you know, do you want to go out tonight? You just wander off into town and you'd wander about and you'd meet up, you know, outside somewhere in the street, and then blah, blah, and the lads would go past and they'd go, whoa, and you'd go, you know, whatever. And it was okay, you know, didn't feel worried or anything. Afterwards, it changed. You didn't meet out in the street, you met inside somewhere at a certain time. The lads' banter changed and got a bit edgy, and it made you uncomfortable in a way that it didn't make you uncomfortable before. But the whole point of that book was that people used to say all the time, you know, because he was a married man, his wife must have known, she must have known. And I always thought, not necessarily. Do you know what I mean?
No, not if you're clever.
She might have thought he's a wrong 'un, and he's playing away from home, and he's, you know, he might have a girlfriend or two, or he might go with prostitutes. But I don't think you ever sit down and look at your husband or your partner and think, I wonder if he's a mass murderer.
Yeah, serial killer.
How many people genuinely can sit down and put themselves into that mindset? I mean, one of the things I keep referring back to is I keep forgetting the character's name from Manhunt, Red Dragon. That original film,
Francis Dolarhyde.
Yes, I mean that original film as well, I think really relays this really well. It's very difficult for any person, individual, to get into that mindset because it's not a normal mindset, is it? It really isn't. And I mean, could any one of us genuinely go, yeah, you know what, I could actually go through the act of doing that? I don't think many of us could we? No.
And we forget that these people, you know, who have a true psychopathic personality, they're very compartmentalized.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be the person with you, you know, their partner, as they are when they want to do the thing they want to do. It's completely shut off. It's a compartmentalized life in a way that our lives feed one thing into another. You know, we've got the kids. I don't, but you know, I mean, you've got the family, you've got the friends, you've got a bit, and it all bleeds one thing into another. Theirs is shut.
Yeah.
And then there's another compartment, which is the family. Then there's another compartment, which is work, you know, or whatever it might be. So when people used to say about his wife, oh, she must have known, I thought, well, not necessarily. And then that was always in my mind.
Yeah.
And then I thought, how would that work You know,
if she did know, how would she be able to rectify that in her own mind? Again, that's
yeah,
an
or would
entirely
she
other
feel like
section.
she was being stupid?
Mm.
Oh, no, you know. But there's a scene in it where they're looking at the news and the latest murders come up, and they're all shit. These kids, basically, these young people sharing a house, and he's there, and they go, "Oh, look, it's awful. There's another girl's been murdered," and he goes, "Yeah, there's some real bastards around." Because in a way, that's over for him now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's complete disassociation, isn't it?
He's now in a different compartment, he can.
Dissociative personality syndrome, essentially, you know, is one of the key sources of the psychopathy in that situation. And again, it's something that is same for so many situations, but you can't put yourself in that position really legitimately in a hypothetical in your own mind.
No, because you can't just see what would drive you.
It's beyond your concept.
Yeah, to do that.
Yeah.
Jules, we are going to do this quiz though, right?
Go on then.
This will lighten the mood. Talking about the Yorkshire, right? Have you got a pen and a piece of paper, Jules?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's right. We'll just do it off the cuff. Let's just do it off the cuff.
We'll do it off the cuff then.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen in the chat room, Tony Blackdawn and Steve and everyone, get yourselves ready. Chuck it in the chat room as quick as you can.
Jules needs to get 10 out of 10 on this.
I do not so.
Right.
Oh, no pressure, mate. Thank you.
We'll be a team.
Angela, she's out there, isn't she? Your wife, your missus, she's out there going, fluence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what she said. She said, Jules. She actually said before I left, Jules will help you.
Excellent.
Jules has got to be willing to help you in the first place. That's the problem. Also in itself, mate. Go on then. Do a question.
Number 1. Who painted the Scream in 1893?
I know the answer, but I'm not saying.
It is.
Okay. You know the answer, yeah? Yeah. Okay. I've written that down. It's definitely that one.
It's definitely that one. Yeah.
Question number. Oh, this is a multiple choice. Question number 2, Jules. Which English poet wrote Ozymandias? And just as an aside here, the Stranglers' song "Ugly" quotes Ozymandias, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know the answer to that.
So it was. Oh, crikey! Keats, Kipling, Wordsworth, or Shelley? Oh, crikey! You know that one as well. See, there you go.
I think I know. Down, low.
Down.
This is like bloody charades, lads. Come on, keep up. There's a list, isn't there?
Yes. Down the list.
Down the what?
You're looking at me. You got to look at.
Down the.
Think of the list.
Yep.
Yeah.
What to the top of the list, isn't there?
Keats, Kipling, Wordsworth, and Shelley. Okay.
I got you.
All right, so I've already got that one wrong then. Because I put somebody from the top of the...
Brilliant.
Right, question number 3. René Magritte, the son of men, depicts a man in a suit and a bowler hat. Which fruit is covering his face? I think I know that one as well, actually. Maybe I've got a couple right. Question number 4. Which of these is a work by English artist Tracy Emin? My fridge, my bed, my sofa, my television. Okay. Question number... Oh, is Luca's in the house now?
Luca's in the house. Come on, Papa.
What is the name for a group of lines within a poem? Here's Luca Frostfire. He's getting in on the quiz.
Oh, it's cute.
There he is. I see so many pictures of Luca up on Instagram. His paw was the last one, Jules, wasn't it?
Hello, little Borsey.
Which is
Mel, what are you doing?
What's the name for a group of lines within a poem? A stanza, a standing, a symbolism, or a sonnet?
Yeah.
I know that one.
Know that one. Question number 6. Lucian Freud painted a naked portrait of which English supermodel in 2002?
Yep.
Question number 7. Who wrote the poem which starts "Tiger, tiger, burning bright"? Oh, Luca, I know that one. William Shakespeare, William Butler Yeats, William Wordsworth, or William Blake? Oh, okay, we're getting that one again, right?
Yeah.
She's good at the clues, Jules. Number 8. Which brand of soup features in Andy Warhol's Soup Can series? Oh, is that? Andrea's going to be so chuffed if I get more than 4 right. Question number 9, penultimate question. American poet Edgar Allan Poe wrote a famous poem about which type of bird? A flamingo, an eagle, a raven, or an albatross? I know that one. No, she's obviously made these easy for me, Jules. So this is
no. It's just it put an image in my mind.
It wasn't John Waters' Pink Flamingo, was it? That's what popped into my mind.
Do you know why a flamingo stands on one leg?
No, why?
Because if it didn't, it would fall over.
That's as bad as the cheese jokes.
Question number 10, and last but not least. Oh, this is for me. The herd of mares broke their hobbles and bolted through the open field gate of the common ground. Can you name the title of this poem and who is the poet? Frayed manes whipping the cold and their colts.
And their cold.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah, stilting, of course I do.
Stilting leggy on the ice iron turf.
Of course I know it, mate.
The steam of their racing blood as they wheeled onto the main road, a frost spume, and the white bolus of white winter moons shone in their round black rolling eyes. As they da-da-da-da-da. So I'm taking it, it's Jules.
If you don't get this one, mate, then you need to leave now.
There we go. We're going to play a song as he's making a bracelet. We're going to play a song as we cogitate on the answers to that.
You say that, but your MacBook's gone to sleep. So.
It has gone to sleep. So we'll play a bit of this, and then we'll come back, we'll have the answers, and we'll let you crack on with your evening, Jules.
All right, then.
We're back, diddly back, and we're going to see how we've all done in this quiz.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've done pretty good.
I think we've done
Jules
pretty
has
good.
definitely done really well.
Now, who painted the Scream in 1893, Jules? Yes, and I got that right.
Edward Monk, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. So, which English poet wrote Ozymandias? Shelley. Yeah, you see, I'd already put Kipling. Don't know why.
My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Oh.
Yeah.
The only bit I know is that I could have read a poem called Ozymandias to her instead. I live for the moment. It was a futile gesture anyway. That's J.J. Bennell from the Stranglers, isn't it?
Well, there you go, you see. I'd rather right.
Question number 3. René Magritte, the son of man, depicts a man in a suit and a bowler hat. Which fruit is covering his face?
Ah, now that was the one I wasn't sure of. I can't just remember. Was that an apple?
It was an apple. Yeah. Well done.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which of these is a work by the English artist Tracy Emin? It's either fridge, bed, sofa, or television.
Bed.
It is bed. Yeah.
I saw that.
Question number 5. What is the name for a group of lines within a poem?
Stanza.
A stanza.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? I've got 4 out of 5. I'm doing. Jules have got 5 out of 5. Obs. Lucian Freud painted a naked portrait of which English supermodel in 2002?
Was it Kate Moss?
It was Naomi Campbell.
Naomi Campbell.
Oh no, sorry. I'm looking at the soup. It was Kate Moss.
Kate Moss. Thank you.
Honestly, dude.
I put Naomi Campbell and I saw Campbell, but no, it was Kate Moss.
It's because you're reading your answers, not the answers on the sheet.
Look, just because Jules can do a million, I can't multitask.
You can't win the quiz by reading your answers and saying that that's it.
Shall I make my answers be the right answers?
The right answers. That's the way to win the quiz, mate.
Isn't it? Right. Who wrote the poem which starts "Tiger, tiger, burning bright"?
William Blake.
Yep.
It was William Blake, which was
in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry, which only works if you're from Birmingham? Because it is tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry?
Well, I tell you what, Jules, I was born in Stratford upon Avon, but all my family are from the Black Country.
Well, then you know how it would work.
Yeah. All my family are like Dudley and Sedgley.
Interestingly, they do say that the London accent at that time when he was writing was closer to that of modern Birmingham than it is to the London we know now. In which case it would work.
It would work.
Back then, Ozzy Osbourne would have actually been quite eloquent.
Absolutely, love. Yes.
Well, it's also interesting. Let's just finish the answers to this and come back to that. Right, this is the soup, Jules. For
yeah. Well, you've done that already, as we know.
It's Campbell's, wasn't it?
It's Campbell's, yeah.
Andy Warhol. American poet Edgar Allan Poe wrote a famous bird not about a flamingo. Was it?
Let's be so wish it was now.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be so scary.
Wish it was now.
That flamingo knocking at my door.
Yeah, exactly. Close the flamingo. Nevermore.
Yeah. Also, could have done a rewrite of the monkey's paw, but maybe the flamingo's flipper.
Flamingo's leg.
This is sounding more like a John Waters film every minute.
Every second, mate. Every second.
So are we dismissing flamingo? We taking that one out of the running or out of the hopping because they stand on one leg?
Yeah, we are. I'm afraid it is the Raven.
It is the Raven. Yeah, and I'm taking that the last one, and not least, and this is for me. Enjoy that the herd of mares broke their hobbles. I'm saying that's Joolz Denby then.
Mm-hmm.
It will be Joolz Denby, yes.
Yes. But I don't know the title, Jules. What's the title?
Neither do I can't remember.
Again, that's the problem with being prolific.
Oh, well,
it's probably winter or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take that then.
Honestly, I can't remember, but I tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It was done for a book of poetry about winter that a publisher was doing an anthology. And
okay.
Can you do a poem about winter? And that actually happened. I was at the end of my street in the middle of the night. I don't know why. And it was very frosty and cold, and there was a full moon, and a huge herd of mares had broken out of the common ground, which is at the bottom of our street, and were bolting up our street with their still hobbled in their traces.
Wow.
And their foals with them, bolting straight onto the main Leeds and Bradford Road.
Wow.
When they got to the top, they wheeled left and bolted down towards Bradford.
Is that what you call the Leeds Road Junction? That's what you call the Leeds Road Junction, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
it was bolting down that, and it was like it was crackers. It was like the Wild West or something.
That is mad.
It does just go to show again as well as with all of this day of modern synthesis and digital technologies and artificial intelligence and on and on. The greatest things come from just being out in the middle of a street on a cold
in the middle of the night.
Seeing something crazy.
I mean, it must have been quite majestic at the same time as maybe a little unnerving, right?
Well, it was, but Bradford's a pony town, so there's a lot of ponies in Bradford. There's a lot of horses. I mean, you go past. So I've been driving through the estates on an occasion, and you actually see a horse's head sticking out of somebody's front room, and it's eating its food out of what would be a window box. Well, they've got the pony in the house because it's a bit cold.
Yeah.
That's well. I was going to say that quiz there, which is ending on Jules's. I got 8 out of 10, Jules. So that's the best I think I've ever done, and you got 10.
Obviously,
you got 10.
Well, except I can't remember the name of my own poem, which is pathetic.
But that would be for a bonus point, so you don't have to worry about that. Don't worry, I'll Google it later for you, and I'll.
Later, mate. Google it.
I'll Google it later, and I'll email you with the answer.
Thanks, mate. So it's good to know because
How many did you get, Leo?
I got 1, 2, 3.
It's counting up.
6, 7, 8.
Oh, we got 8 as well. Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, well done, Andrea. Nice quiz. Let's have more like that. Yeah. That thing I was just going to say, Jules, about the dialect. I've got at home a Black Country dictionary because obviously the Black Country's got all of its own sort of dialect.
Oh, it does, yeah.
And it's very close because of them both being mining. Obviously, there was coal mining in the Black Country, and we've got tin mining down in Cornwall. A lot of the dialects and stuff, looking back in history, Cornish and Black Country, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we've got in our dialect, the old dialect that was here when I first came here, and what my first husband, who was very what we call broad in his speech, used. We have, for example, we'll say 2 old women calling over the fence.
Calling.
Calling.
For chatting.
You know, Norwegian chatting.
Dawn Lee's in the chat room, Jules. Does the word free mean anything to you?
Free?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the poem?
Yeah.
Only the band.
That's the name of your poem, apparently. She has Googled it.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. I'm glad somebody's on this, because I know I'm not.
Now, I'm conscious that we have taken a lot of your time. But
yes, we have.
One quick question.
No, you're all right, mate.
Or a couple of quick questions. You don't have to go too deep if you don't want to. But one of them I did want to ask you was AI. So AI art. I worked.
Oh, AI art, yeah.
Yeah. See, I did an engineering degree many years ago, and I worked on artificial intelligence and cluster bots and such. And it's now a very prevalent thing. Like AI
it
art
is, yes, it's huge.
is out there. How do you feel about that? Do you think it has a place in the world? Do you think it is a danger for artists, or is it literally just another novelty?
I think it's a massive problem for artists because I work digitally as well as physically. So quite a lot of my artwork now is digital. But that's different. It's not the same thing as AI. People get this mixed up. So I've got Procreate. That's what I use. It's a very typical tattooist tool for drawing. But I still have to draw it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no part of that drawing I haven't drawn. I'm just using a digital tool to do it with.
Like drawing with the pens on an iPad, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. You still have to be able to draw.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to do it for you.
No.
I mean, there are things that it will do for you if you want it to make greetings cards or whatever, you know, but I don't do that. But this is, to me, the iPad and Procreate are like having an enormous art supply warehouse in the form of an A5 pad.
Yeah.
A4 pad.
You don't do greetings cards yet, but I did notice your friend Robin, who follows you, your picture of a robin. He said that is the perfect greetings card.
Oh no, I do them, but I do them like people make greetings cards like they'll get a preset stamp and they'll put that with another preset stamp, and then they'll put a preset letter in.
Yeah.
So put them all together and
I
make
see
like
so much now is people using these preset things. You log onto a website, you just click this. I saw one today that again it almost boiled my blood so much, where you can now go to a website where you can get ghost produced tracks, which you pay a one-time fee, and then you just release it as your own.
As your own.
Mind-blowing.
Well, I've looked on Redbubble after I saw your post of. I'm gonna show you something in a second, Jules. But I saw your post on. You made the fatal mistake of googling new model army art.
Yeah, I never do that. Never do that again.
No, I did it after you did it, and I was astounded to find that I could just go on Redbubble and for 80 quid or whatever, I could buy one of your Winter Warriors. You know, a big print of that signed by Joolz Denby. Clearly not, because it's just like they've got your signature. But can I just show you something? And Andrea's just sent this in. Which camera are we doing it on? That one. So you'll obviously we've got children, and my influence, I'm massively into music, and obviously I have the New Model Army are just my ultimate favourite. I've got banned from playing them.
I'd never have guessed that. Look, you're so subtle about that.
But Andrea,
it's just I've never known. I'd never have known.
Andrea says you're not to play them anymore on the radio because that's all you would play. When Today Was a Good Day came out, this is my stepson Anthony. So where's the camera for? If I hold it up there, can you see that glassed in?
No, I can't see anything.
Can you not? What if can you see me here?
No, I can't see anything. Can you see? Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's
no.
Oh,
tell me what it is.
It's basic. Where can you hold that up to a camera so that Jules can see that?
It's too shiny. The front of it is too shiny.
Is it?
I can't see it. Yeah.
So,
it's a surfboard.
Yes.
I got it.
You got it. And basically,
it's the skull out of Today's a Good Day.
That's it. And that came out, and he was having his surfboard made up at Gulf Stream up in Croyd, and he just and he copied, you know, like when you would grid it out, because he was at PCAD, and he gridded it all out, and he said that's the thing that I'm having glassed into the bottom of my surfboard. And the amount of people that he's gone surfing and they've seen that and they're just like, wow. I mean, that's an 8 foot mini mal. And he said, can you show Jules that, but please tell her don't sue me.
Don't sue me, I don't give a shit. He's happy to do it. Even he likes it, that's fine. I've done skateboards, surfboards, scooters, Volkswagens, all sorts of things. All sorts of people have said, "Can I put this on my vehicle or my skateboard or whatever?" And I go, fine. I never mind if somebody asks or says, "Oh, I love it, thank you." It's when they take it and they make loads of money out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Profiteering.
That's when it gets, annoying. Because I don't have a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
This is what people don't get as well. Like, honestly, I get it all the time as well. And look, I'm not a personality, okay? So you're not going to go on Wikipedia and find me. Trust me, because they took my Wikipedia page down. The reason being...
I'm so sorry.
I Googled you and it said Google said Leo who?
Well, it was funny because they said it didn't declare what my importance was. I'm like, thanks, that's great. I'm literally not important.
Could you do that?
But people still
how
have
very dare you not declare that?
Yeah, I know. But people still look at me and go, "Oh, well, you worked in music. You've worked with Frank Turner, Viv Albertine, and
Mick Jones from the Clash.
Yeah, you must be super rich." And no,
they all think that.
That's not how it works.
No, it's not how it works.
Yeah, the vast majority of all artists and musicians have nothing because there's someone else out there.
Also, because what people don't realise, things like I will not get a government pension.
No, exactly.
But I'm going to be 68 in April. I won't get a government pension because when I was young, nobody told me in the music industry and the poetry industry, you've got to pay contributions.
Yeah.
And I had no idea because I'm like, la, 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 I'm making things. It's all so lovely. They didn't tell me about anything to do with economics. So I will never get a pension. Yeah. So I will work until I drop. And that's how it is for most artists because nobody tells you as a young artist when you're all devil may care and running about and doing stuff. By the way, you have to pay national insurance contributions.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. And you go, what?
Yeah.
And you just don't know.
Yeah. It's
So these people that rip me off and rip off other people like me don't seem to understand that we are not like Beyonce. We don't have Madonna's money.
No.
We're just all right, I'll give you that we're weird, but we are, normal people.
And despite what people
creative,
may think,
not weird.
And despite what people may
but
think,
we're just weird.
I mean this in the best possible light because it's true. Is effort does not necessarily equal the pay. I'm not saying that Beyonce isn't great at what she does necessarily.
No.
I'm just saying that what she does isn't necessarily the vast amount of effort that the vast majority of artists, musicians, dancers, performers and actors do put in. The people that are the bread and butter every day of their lives out there touring the country, stuck in a van with 6 other people, smelling each other's farts like King Crimson or King Creature or whatever. People don't see that side of it. They only ever see the presentation. They only ever see an award or maybe a conference or...
Or they just see the gig.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, this is going back right to where we first started, and we are going to pursue this whole mindfulness thing through our season 3, Jules, because we're going to be talking to artists like yourself, writers. We're going to talk to photographers, anything to sort of get people out there, get them doing something, that just frees you maybe for a couple of hours. You're sat, like you say, you've got a lot of issues that you have worked through that you're still working through, and can I ask you a personal question? What time do you get up in the morning? Are you very early and then late to bed?
Do you really actually want to know the answer to that?
Yeah.
I probably don't get up till about midday.
And then what time do you go to bed? Are you
but I wake up at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I sit in bed with a cup of tea and do all the business I have to do in terms of emails and whatever on the phone in bed where it's warm. And the cat likes it because he'll come and, talk to me about his night, what he's been doing with his mate TC and all the rest of it around the garden and that. And then we'll have a little chat about that, and then I'll do it. And then by the time I've actually sort of decided, better get up, it's probably about 12. But then I'll quite often work till 3 in the morning.
I was going to say you're very much then like a night owl then for working and stuff. Yeah. No, it's just interesting because some people, they say, are you an early bird or you're a night owl, aren't you?
And we're back to this thing again about the Protestant work ethic.
Yeah.
They get very, very bloody judgy about you not getting up and working late. And they go, what time it is? And you're not even up yet. And I go, no, I'm not. What time did you finish work? And they go,
I'm
5
sorry,
o'clock.
I forgot to till the fields at 6 o'clock this morning.
I've
got to turn those spuds before 10.
Oh, jeez,
No,
and
but that's
they always go, oh, you artists.
Yeah.
Like, it's like...
Yeah, look, it's always that, isn't it? It's always you artists or you
you
musicians or whatever.
artists.
But they're not saying that when they're packing out Wembley Stadium, 40,000 people screaming, saying, I love you, you're my idol. They're not saying it then, are they? They're not saying that when they're buying the products.
There are artists that get up at, the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
But there aren't that many.
No.
I mean,
Do you do though a lot of
we
paint?
are creatures of the night.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do say that psychologically, the most creative point for most brains is about midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning, where it's supposed to be shutting down.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Do you do though a lot of? Do you paint a lot, Jill? Because obviously a lot of your cave art that you're calling it, and that's obviously from internal. Do you go out and paint scenes though? Do you actually, like a?
In the nature?
Yes.
Nah.
No.
Because I do most of it. All the art I do, basically most of it, apart from the easel work, is I'm sitting on this sofa that I'm sitting on now.
Yeah.
Drawing on I did Thunder and Constellation on this sofa on my knee.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So you do all your sketching is kind of done. You know obviously what things look like, and you just sketch them out, and that's it.
But I have got what's called a semi-eidetic memory. So if I see an image, I remember it. And I remember I'm always looking at trees and going, oh look, that goes up, not down, or that branch crosses over, and then it looks like that, and.
Oh, I see.
Honestly, I'm lethal if I'm out walking about, because I'll just walk into traffic.
I see it all the time on Instagram, and Jules will put up sketchy little tree, and I'm like, why the fuck can't I just draw a sketchy little tree like that?
Well, yeah, someone's have it.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. I love them though. What was the one silver? I looked at one. I think it was ash or beaches or something, and the colours in it were just.
Did it have a blue background? Was it quite recent?
I think it was quite a pale background, but there was all oranges and stuff in the barks.
Oh yeah, trees. Aspen. They were aspens.
Yeah, aspens. That's it.
Aspens were really interesting because they look like they're dozens of trees, but they're actually only one tree.
Yeah, that was
it. They're the saplings. They're the spurs of one tree.
I'm waiting for my night scene to turn up. I think the lacquer's drying in there.
It's been sent, darling. That was sent special delivery. You should have that by now.
Don't forget, we're still having some postage and delivery issues around here.
That's what the post office want me to go and collect.
Oh, that's
it will be. Yes, it will be. It will be.
Fantastic. So they're holding that at the mind you, Jules, if it's anything up in Bradford like it is ours, you go down to collect something from the post office, and the bloke will be in there, and they'll go, "We're closed," and I go, "Well, you're not closed, are you? Because you're there." "Yeah, I know I'm here, mate, but you're closed." And the post girl goes, "Can you not just give him his parcel?" "No, I can't give him his parcel because we're closed. What you need to do, mate, is email me and I'll send it round to the front of the..." "Yeah, but I can see it there." "Yeah, but you can't have it. If you email me, I'll send it to the front of the post office because we're two different companies." And I'm like, "Just give me the bloody parcel." And then he'll just pull the shutter down and that'll be it.
Yeah. Well, I can't send anything internationally at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, you were saying, yeah.
Because Royal Mail.
There's been a cyber attack because of the Russian cyber attack on the post office, and I cannot believe that a massive organisation like the post office, that the government haven't intervened to help them.
I used to work in telecommunications, and it's rife with that sort of stuff. Like, honestly, there's just so much that goes
Bitcoin,
on.
Bitcoin, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was the FTX thing that happened a few weeks ago with literally trillions of dollars just getting wiped out there, and there's no security behind that. Disney, that's part of why Disney lost their $12 billion last year, as they were heavily invested in FTX.
Oh yeah, Disney, but yeah.
But it did remind me of the other question as well.
Go on then.
Cover-ups and reworks was the one thing I wanted to ask. In tattooing, do you do many cover-ups or reworks?
Tattooing, yeah.
Do you do many of them for people? And what's the most unusual / oddest one you've had to do?
Doing cover-ups and tattoos is actually quite a specific talent. Like, I know I can do them, but they're just it's a whole world of crazy. And like, I know a lady called Teresa Gordon Wade, and she is the envy of all the tattooists that know her, because she can look at somebody's old work and go, "I know what go over that," and it's always right. But the rest of us have to. The thing that I find the most weirdest, or the most thing is, somebody, it's usually a woman. They come in and they go, "Can I get this covered up?" And I go, "Yeah, probably." And they go, well, can you make it smaller and lighter?
No.
And I'm like, no.
I can
And they
make
go,
it.
what will you do with it? And I'll go, well, I have to put a load of big black roses over it or whatever,
I'll make it bigger and darker.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Oh. You would have been a great. What was that? We're going to have to go in a second, Jules. We ran out of time at 9.
Yeah.
What was that show that they used to do? Changing rooms, and they go, hope they don't do it orange. So long as they don't do it orange, and they deliberately go and
it was always orange.
You would do that. You go, can you make it smaller and darker? Smaller and lighter. Hope she doesn't make it bigger and darker. What have you done? I've made it bigger and darker.
And darker. It is axiomatic that whatever goes over your is going to be bigger.
Yeah,
it's got to be bigger.
One of the reasons I asked is the funniest one I ever came across was a guy that got drunk one night. And again, I'll remind people you're not supposed to get tattoos when you're drunk, okay? Because this guy ended up with George Osborne tattooed on his back. And he woke up next morning in a rage and went to a tattoo parlour as soon as he could and said, could you turn this into something less offensive? So he put glasses on, a beard on it, and turned it into Rolf Harris.
Now rest my case. You do get the weirdest. Like, it's a whole program of weirdness of tattooing.
Jules, will you come back and talk to us again another time? Because we're going to have to go, and it's been absolutely fascinating, and I feel that we could just talk all night. Dawn Lee has just said before we go, Jules, you are a lovely, amazing lady and great fun. Have loved listening to you. Keep going.
Thank you, Dawn. See you later. Have a lovely evening.
So we'll leave you to go and what you're going to do? 2 canvases,
feed
some
the
butter
cat.
and 4 bracelets now, are you?
Something like that, yeah. No, I've got to feed the cat, finish this bracelet. Then I've got to prep a canvas board with a new watercolour medium so I can try watercolour on it. And then I've got to finish knitting this scarf for this kid that I promised I'd knit them a scarf. And now it's got to be obviously 6 foot long because it's a young person and they've always got to have these really long scarves.
Right.
And I hadn't said it now because it's like a demented thing that's just going on. And then I'll probably go to bed.
Excellent.
I mean, I'll tell you what as well, this has been a really surreal pleasure for me because the last time I heard your voice was on the Mark and Lard show. Mark
and Lard show, yeah.
I used to listen to it religiously. I remember so clearly, like when Neil first mentioned, like I was just like, oh my god, like yes, I remember so religiously listening to you on that show.
They let me do whatever I like.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they never said, oh, you can't do that, it's too grim.
Well, I tell you what, there's a little passage because obviously you used to do Woman's Hour, and I think that features in Stone Baby as well. There's some mention of that.
My friend sister used to produce it.
You're saying at some point in there as well. But not obviously you, but I'm sure this is you. When you've done an interview and they've kind of asked you a question, and then they don't really listen to what you're saying because they've got the second question ready to go. So you'll notice we're not like that at all. We just go with the flow on this show. We're the absolute opposite of that. We've got no structure whatsoever, but it's always fun and it's always a pleasure.
You really need it if you can chat to someone.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see, we've seen people do it where they've gone to interview somebody and they'll say something and you'll come out with some amazing fact and then they'll just go on to the next question and you're like...
Oh, yeah, all the time. It happens all the time.
Yeah. See,
it happens all the time. You just start saying really stupid things just because you know they're not listening.
Yeah.
No, and you do, and because we're horrible, and you just do it. The best one was a radio show, and she was talking to me the whole time when I was like this massive goth, princess.
Yeah.
And she was talking about my goth prince, but she didn't say on the radio what I look like. So she kept saying things like, do you get a lot of trouble for the way you look? And do people say a lot of stuff to you in the street because of how you look? But she never said what I look like. And my friend afterwards said, you could have been wearing a gorilla suit with a tutu.
Well, you would get into a lot of trouble if you were... You would get into a lot of trouble if you were wearing that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So she gave no context. So
this
it was
is
bizarre.
something we've stumbled on ourselves a few times since like switching over to doing the video. Is like we'll do something that's a visual feature and then remember that no one at home listening, if they're just listening on the radio, can see it. It's like ventriloquism on Radio 4 back in the day.
Yeah.
Most people watch us now though, and of course what we do is we load this up, and it's very similar to what's happened with all media now. Most people, 90% of people, will watch again So, this will go onto YouTube and we can share you the link. If there's anybody you want to share it with, you'll be able to
you should give me the link and I'll share it around.
That's
no
perfect.
problem.
So we're going to say good night, Jules, but please come back. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Juolz Denby.
Good night from me and Luca.
Oh, night, Luca. Not forgetting Luca. Cheers, Jules. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
fantastic.
That's brilliant. That's literally like a bucket list thing. Oh, Jules is still on. I was going to say that's literally like a. That's one. Like people want to swim with dolphins. I just wanted to chat with Juolz Denby.
Well, we could with Juolz Denby and then it would solve both things, wouldn't it?
Why don't I come to Bradford? We'll go to the public baths and then I'll get a tattoo.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Perfect.
Oh, and do Betty's in Ilkley at the same time.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jules.
Nice.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Thank you so much. We'll do a play out song and then we're gone.
Yeah, indeed.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Tell you what we'll play. We'll play that. Should we play Lynn?
Yeah, let's go with a bit of Lynn. Yeah.
Everybody likes a bit of Lynn. We'll play Lynn Raja's latest single and then we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah,
what an amazing evening.
Yeah, fantastic.
That just literally flew by. I think I could talk to Jules until she goes to bed at 3 a.m.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I could talk to Jules all night. Yeah.
Yeah, we need more
fantastic.
because I felt like on a lot of those things we were still just scratching the surface of some things.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many questions. It's so much to talk
Brilliant.
about.
What a lovely lady to talk to.
Fantastic. Yeah, really. And like I say, I remember growing up and hearing it on the radio.
Yeah, Mark and Lard were great though, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you're
going to get involved with anybody on Radio 1.
Yeah, they're the ones that you want to do it. And like I say, it's just amazing how you say surreal, for both of us in different ways.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on.
And it was, as I say, it was that moment where I went to my first NMA gig and it was like, you knew the band were going to be there because that's what you'd gone to see. And then just went over to buy a shirt and I was like, holy shit, it's Juolz Denby.
Special occasion.
That's just insane.
Yeah, you're never going to forget that.
No, that's brilliant. And I'm glad you saw the surfboard. Anthony's just texted in. Great show, Neil. Loved it. Oh, there you go.
Fantastic.
Let's have a bit of Lynn. Play on a bit of Lynn. She'll calm us down. I've got to apologise to Johnny from Pipeline as well because we didn't even get tipple or nightcap of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But we will do. We're not doing a show next week, are we, Leah? Because you're going to London. You're going down there, London town.
Dental work. A little bit of dental work.
Yeah.
Woo. That's going to be great.
I'm sad we didn't get. Unless do we want to run over and do a tipple of the week, or should we?
Yeah, we can do that. We can run over a little bit. Yeah.
I mean,
it might make up for the couple of minutes I missed at the beginning of the show. Why don't we go out on tipple with Lynn? Let's go out with a tipple with Lynn.
Okay, let's have a tipple with Lynn. Why not? Let's go till 9:15.
I know you're out there watching Lynn.
Let's go out for a tipple with Lynn.
Yeah, because it also gives me the opportunity to reveal my fantastic Buckham glass.
It also gives me the opportunity to reveal this amazing artwork, which I think is also, strangely enough, very Jules-esque.
Yes, I was saying
she's probably watching it going, no, it isn't. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all those bright, vibrant colours. What's it called?
It is really lovely. And it's called All Eyes on You.
All Eyes on You.
And it is an India Pale Ale from Pipeline. Look at that. I was saying, just before
Pipeline
the show,
Brewery down in St Agnes.
Yes.
The amazing Johnny that I was talking to the other day, and hopefully we're going to get some of these into JJ's for the Well Raver night. Are we not?
Yes, we are going to try. We were talking, as you may remember,
Nightcap of the week.
Indeed, nightcap of the week, and hopefully we're going to be having tipple of the week's guesting at JJ, so that will be fantastic.
The Ruminator and Noise Monkey.
Yes.
Because this is well ravey.
Yeah.
He's got one called Dope, but he said if you're doing a rave, it is 6.5% or 7.5% or something. He said so it's not really.
Yeah, but
one
to be honest, I know plenty of people will probably be like, "Yep, that's perfect."
But
for my
this one is 5.
Yeah.
So we'll do this one because I specifically did tell Johnny that we'd promote it.
Yeah,
for
exactly,
him.
Yeah.
Do we want to get a double opener?
I think we could go for that.
Said the Bishop to the Axis.
Let's have a little look. See here. Let's kill Siege for a second. Get this up close.
Poor old Siege.
So what's this one going to be? Is this going to be a explosive sound of success of Elon Musk turning around Twitter to a profit within just 90 days, or the unsatisfying whimper of Yoel Roth on the stand at the commission over whether Twitter may have censored people and violated their First Amendment rights? Let's find out.
Let's do, please hope it's the first one. Or is it Disney losing £12 million? 1, 2, 3. Oh, mine was a slow release.
Yeah, it's the old rough whimpering on the stand. Oh, honestly,
and I can smell it as soon as it's opened. Now,
that's one of those things, if anyone's following it online, like the congressional hearings, it's just so funny hearing how many times people can not recall what they did on that particular day when they want to know whether they might have done something nefarious.
Everybody can remember what they were doing when Rolf Harris got sent to prison. Now, I've got a big sort of bowly
You've got quite right. Okay, so
here, which is giving me an enormous head.
You've got one of the classic Stella glasses from the 2000s.
It's got the aerator thing in the bottom, which makes it go super duper fizzy. Now, Johnny did say when I asked him, he doesn't use anything organic in his beers. It's all brewed, obviously, in St Agnes. He doesn't use organics because a lot of people are like, we're very organic, or with Soil Association, we've had that, and each to their own. However, he is in the top 8, not even the top 10, the top 8 independent breweries in the UK with Pipeline Brewery. And he's just reinvested a lot of his money into making it better and improving it. Beautiful, simple little logo.
Yep.
Can we pop that up onto the screen so that people can
do in a
see
second.
that?
I was just going to say, in honour of Jules, this is what might have been called a Northern Benefit pint.
Hey.
Still know what I'm talking about.
Chin chin. Get the nose on it. What are you getting? Ooh. It's fruity.
Yeah.
Don't get your nose in it. Get the nose on it.
I do get my nose in it quite frequently, don't I?
It's fruity. I'm going in because I've got to get rid of this head. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's definitely got a passion fruit tang straight away on the nose.
Ooh, that is super lovely and fruity. That's 5%, Leo. Tastes like pop.
That's very smooth. That is very, very smooth.
It's very smooth.
Yeah, definitely hints of passion fruit and maybe a slight sort of cantaloupe. Cantaloupe on the tongue.
Well, I'll tell you, it's vibrant, hoppy, certainly is that, juicy, and it's certainly that. Yeah. Crafted on the North Cornwall coast using fresh ingredients and Cornish water. We create exciting craft beers that showcase the best of New World hops. And this one has... Where are we? It's Equinox, Mosaic, and Nelson Sauvin in this one. 5%. Excellent. And it's beautiful artwork. I don't know who does this artwork. I did touch on this briefly with Johnny, and he said the artwork, that whether he's got different artists that do different cans, I don't know. But this one... is outstanding,
super
isn't it?
Catching. Well, looking through the website there, you can see they've got quite a lot of interesting artworks for all of the various different things.
Yeah.
We've got quite a selection here as well. You've got everything from oat cream IPAs.
I did a collection off him today.
Yeah.
Sending out loads of beers from the
nice
pipeline.
DH lagers and such, and you can check that out at their website, which I believe is pipelinebrewing.co.uk.
Yeah.
And so it definitely... It's interestingly cloudy as well, which because we've had quite a lot of very clear pale ales recently, haven't we?
We have. It is very, very nice. Very nice.
It is definitely light, and I could imagine that on a summer's day at a festival.
Well, we're hoping. Just name dropping, that the Morzim are playing down at the Old Albion in Crantock for the coronation weekend.
Yep.
And Eve was talking potentially, I WhatsApped Eve, and she may get some cans of this in, and we're also looking, as we say, to get it for our Well Raven night at JJ's.
Yes.
You're having a meeting with JJ next week, but that will be a Zoom meeting, won't it? Because you'll be in London.
Yes, I'll be zooming in. Yep, for my.
You'll be in their London town.
After a dental appointment, I might be a bit.
I'll be like Dudley Moore in 10 when he breaks. He gets into his own house and they think he's a burglar.
Yeah.
But no, Johnny, that is a nice bit.
Very good one.
I think I might have to go back to him and I'll say couldn't quite make our mind up. We need a case. But I think this is one that he said this is one of his most popular ones because it is a good session.
Yeah, I can totally see why.
It lingers. A little bit, which is nice, but it lingers nicely.
Yeah, kind of lingers, yeah.
Like you would say, Leo, it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's very, very welcome.
Yes, very much so. It's, in fact, it's almost like my mouth is inviting yet more in.
It is indeed.
Beckoning. It's like my tongue is beckoning.
Exactly.
Like
dancing.
Like Gene Simmons' tongue at a Kiss concert.
Those hops are dancing along your tongue. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we can say about it because it is just nice.
Yeah.
It's just genuinely fantastic. A nice beer. His brewery is lovely. He's got a little brewery in St Agnes. Small, really small, and it's a microbrewery, obviously. But it all looks really nice. And we may be going down there. He did say we could go down and film a brew day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
not all of it. He said it is quite boring in parts, but he said it's quite exciting when all the bits get added in.
Depends how into brewing you are, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it depends if we get a bus down there and have a tasting session as well. Then it won't be boring, will it?
Yeah, it'll be super
fun. Next time I see him, I'll ask him when he's doing like a full brew day, and we'll get a couple of dates, and we can put a short up of actually how this beer is brewed. Then,
yeah, that'd be grand.
Which would be fantastic.
Hopefully, we can do a couple of them. Actually,
yeah, well, good. Yeah. Tom at Good hopefully is going to let us in and do a brew day as well.
Yep.
And it's interesting for people. I mean, I've done only a little bit of home brew. I've not done it from scratch, but you've brewed beer and stuff. But for people who haven't,
it's an entire keg of Weiss beer that I was making before I moved back to London from Bristol, and we're talking like a full still.
Yeah.
And oh my god, did that thing stink? It was so bad. And like, I dumped it in the drain right at the bottom of the garden, just outside the fence. And unfortunately, that thing turned out to be blocked. So by the time half the still had gone in, it was starting to back up. So yeah, for the next week, it was smelling pretty ripe out there. Oh dear, I regret doing that. I'll learn not to do that again. But as we are fast approaching the end of the show, I'm just going to remind people that if you want to catch this show and many, many others on demand, you can do so at fm.fluidrecords.co.uk or vision.fluidrecords.co.uk, where you'll find our entire back catalogue of audio shows, podcasts and video shows. We're well over 100 shows now. I think we're on 103 odd shows that we've uploaded just in videos. And the audio, I mean, we're over 200 with that one. It's ridiculous how many shows we've got up there. But there's plenty there, dating all the way back. And we've got Prouse Night Out, we've got Big Lad Sick Hard Portion, we've got Flexi Fridays, we've got this show, and we've got a whole bunch of new shows coming up soon as well, along with Vision Extra, where you can find the interviews and video shorts. And
College is coming on board very shortly. Their studios
coming up soon as well.
Surprisingly, I've just totted up as well. That's why I'm not checking emails or looking away. I'm just saying we've actually still managed to play 10 songs.
Yeah, it's good luck. I mean,
damn, we're good.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing I wanted to mention as well is don't forget to check out the website at fluidrecords.co.uk, where you will find all of the stuff you need to get your latest videos, your latest podcasts,
the merch
and the merch store, which I'll get to in a second. You'll have Tipple of the Week here as well, which we've still got Black Flag from our last one, and obviously that will be updated to this one this week. And I really wanted to mention again, just one more time, our featured artist this past week was Lady Noir, and we've still got them up here because bless Hannah has been doing absolutely fantastic with her Just Giving page. We've been covering this. Prouty was covering it last night as well, and last week
it's almost $5,000, isn't it?
Well, let's have a quick look on that page, if we can just have a quick look see in here, because it was over $4,000 when I last checked. It is 4,373, which is fantastic. It's 437% of their total they had aimed for. But you can still keep giving. Please do go check it out at Just Giving. If you check out our website, go check out the featured artist page. There's a link to it right there. And we will be still supporting every step of the way. We're sharing out her video diaries, her video blogs to our Facebook every day that she does them, or as best as I can keep up. And we will, on the weekend of March 10th and 11th, we will be collecting to donate to the charity as well.
Which will be through JJ's.
Yep, through JJ's at the gigs. So yeah, just wanted to give everyone a quick update on that.
Also, they were trying to raise £1,000. So Hannah, when you do finally retire from the music business, I think you should go into wealth management. Yeah. Because clearly you wanted £1,000 and you got £4,500.
Yeah, incredibly well. Like, just
it's fantastic.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
And of course, the last thing that you wanted me to mention there was the merch store, which is available at fluidrecords.co.uk/merch, where you can find an amazing array of accoutrements for you to keep warm in the icy weather. Although it's getting a bit sunnier now.
Still nippy in the mornings.
We're still nippy in the mornings.
Nippy up in Bradford.
Yep.
Jules will be needing one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could leave a house in one of our wonderful hoodies, so it keeps you nice and warm. And as the day heats up and the sun comes out, you could maybe strip down to one of our fantastic t-shirts in ladies and men's wear.
And then when it gets even warmer,
if the sun's really battering down on you, grab yourself one of them baseball caps. Why not? I was
going to say, just strip down to your baseball cap. Yeah. It's not going to be the last thing we mention, though, Leo, is it?
No. Should we start selling coffee? Oh, that wasn't what I was going to mention. But
the last thing we're going to mention is I'm going to say good night to everybody and thank you so much again to Jules and thank you for everybody that was listening. Mm-hmm. We're going to end with Lynn Raja with her new song Ocean. Mm-hmm. But the last thing we should mention, which might crop up in the merch shop, is we've Jules touched on art theft, which we were talking about, and Christina Pierce, a local artist, lives in Goonhaven, has jumped into the Phluid family, if you like, and she's a fantastic sports artist, predominantly cricket, and she has done a spin, in inverted commas, on our logo, and we are going to be producing a limited edition run of mugs to help highlight art theft and donate some of the profits to Christina's chosen charity, which I think is motor neurons disease. So that's the last thing we're going to end on. She sent us some designs. We're waiting for a mock-up to come back, and then we can start selling them.
I've just been blown away. It's so fat. Thank you so much as well.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Amazing and so quick. Like,
she sent me more emails and whatever than I've sent her. Normally, you would be badgering her, but she's such a lovely lady as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it's brilliant. And I mean, that just leaves me to say, don't forget to feed the head of algorithm. Yeah, make sure you like, follow, share and subscribe. Please do, it really helps us. We're building up our followership and our subscriptions. You can find us on YouTube, just search for Phluid Vision. Twitter, we're at Phluid FM. Mixcloud /Phluid FM. Twitch /Phluid Vision. Facebook /Phluid Records. And Instagram at Phluid Records. It really does help. We're doing a little bit of a push. We need to get those numbers up, those subscriptions up, those followers up. Please do, click that little button. Click the subscribe button, click the little bell, and it will let you know whenever we've got a new show up, and it will help get us up the algorithm.
And even the track link machine's gone to sleep, Leo, so let's say night-night.
It's definitely coming up to that point to say night-night, so yeah, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Leave you with Lynn Raja.